Hey friends, welcome back to Watavue Mountain. I don't know if you can tell or not, but we're at the mountain. Gloomy day today, rainy. We've already been hard at it this morning. Maybe you can tell or not, we're in the shower. We're finally, today, gonna get the cement board up on these walls. It's been a long time coming for us to finally get some interior stuff done, and today's the big day. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. We're absolutely blessed that you're with us, to have us along, to have you along with us on this journey. And yeah, so thanks for coming. If you like what we're doing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you don't, then that's okay too. We don't care. But enough of me rambling. Let's just get to busy. So real quick, just to show you some of the stuff we're using. I don't have a great way to lay it out because we have all this crap inside, but we're using 1/2-inch Durock cement board. So because I'm using 1/2-inch, and you need to use 1/2-inch on the walls, you can use 1/4-inch on the floors as a backer, but on the walls you need to use the 1/2-inch because it's more structurally sound and will hold better. So we're going to use these 1 5/8 backer board screws. So 1 5/8 for that. Of course, for that, everybody recommends using an impact driver as opposed to a drill so that you don't overdrive those or strip out the heads. And then this comes with a T25 bit, but we have one already, so we'll just use that one. What am I going to use to cut? Because we're going to have to cut, because of course nothing is standard at Watavue Mountain. So I'm going to use this oscillating tool, and this is a carbide diamond tipped blade, so that I can cut right through that cement board. And you'll see, because we're going to have to cut a lot of it. You could use a diamond blade on a circular saw, and that's pretty easy. Or you could just score it. You can use a scoring, and then you can snap it, which is a little more difficult, but this is what we have. I don't have a diamond blade for the circular saw, so we're going to use this. Of course, our old friend, heavy duty liquid nails, we're going to use that on the studs to help keep that more secure to the wall. Standard stuff, tape measure, pencil. We're gonna need some clean water and some thin set, and then of course our cement board, 1/2-inch cement board. So I have that laying out behind you, but again, it's dark and gloomy here. My lighting is terrible, so you'll see it as we put it up. I'm not gonna just show you it sitting there on the thing. So first things first, I got to figure out where we're going. And we're just going to start at the top just because it's easier. And then I'll show you what we're going to do special at the bottom to fit around this pan, the shower pan. Also, I have some cardboard in the shower pan so I can stand in it just so nothing breaks. So I got some cardboard in the shower pan, you can see, just to help protect that. Now, if I was really crazy protective, I would probably put something hard over that, like a scrap piece of plywood or something, but I don't have any handy, so we're just going with this, and I'm just going to make sure I'm real careful and try not to drop anything on here so it doesn't crack, because that would just be our luck, right, that I would crack it. So first things first, I got to figure out what we're dealing with. We know we don't have a standard 5-foot shower or tub, right? So that's why these come in 3x5 sheets. I forgot to mention that. Cement board comes in 3x5 sheets because that's a standard tub size or shower size, right? So normally it's 5 feet long and 3 feet wide. That makes it really easy for you to put the cement board up. But of course, our back wall here, we're going to go out about 48 inches. So you can see, here's that little knee wall. Sean will pan over to it, that we built because, again, the shower here, toilet there, we just wanted something to help protect that, keep that water from going out of the shower. We could have done some kind of fancy shower curtain on a loop or something, but it was just as easy just to build this morning. So we're going to do the same thing on this. We're going to put the cement board up on this side, and then tile this as well. So from the wall to there is 47.5 inches. So I'm going to run that all the way up 47.5 inches. So let's go over to the cement board, the first piece, and let's get that thing cut down to 47.5 inches. Okay, so like I said, 1/2 inch cement board. We're going to measure over 47.5 here. And then I'm going to come up here, 47.5 here. And then, since I don't have a big square or big T or any anything fancy, I'm just going to take my chalk line out. I'm going to hold it right there. And then I'm going to cut along the chalk line. So you can get one of those big T squares or something like that and cut all that and do it that way. And that's fine. But if you don't have one, you can do that too. So now we're just going to take this oscillating tool and I'm going to score along that line after I measure again, right? Measure twice, cut once. 47.5. 47.5. And then part of the reason I'm using this instead of the skill saw or the circular saw is for the mess. We're stuck inside and this makes much less dust than a skill saw. So what I'm also going to do is while I'm cutting, I'm going to use the bucket head vacuum to kind of vacuum as I go too. So let's see how this works. So I did not cut all the way through all of it because the other stuff is underneath it. You see I nicked it a little bit there. But now I can just take that. Can you see that? It just, so now that just bends right off. And then I'm just going to take a razor blade and score the rest of it. Well, there we go. And now I'm going to save this piece, see if I can use it later somewhere else. All right, back to the bathroom we go. Okay, so we know our first screw is going to go here in the corner, but then I want to get it lined up with this first stud, which is not 16 on center. It's 12.5 inches. And then these are 16-inch on center after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to measure over 12.5. Make my first mark. 12.5. 12.5. And I'll be able to see it down there. Then I'm going to measure 16-inch over from here. 16. 16. So I'm going to do this all the way across the board, and then I'm going to pre-drill some screws before I do the liquid nails, just so I have some screws that I can go ahead and... So I'm just going to get a couple tacked in here, get them started. So then when I lift it, they're already there and I can just go ahead and screw it in place. So let me do this, then we'll see what's next. Okay, so I got all those nails. Nope, not nails. I have all those screws in place, not all, but just enough to tack it in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the heavy duty liquid nails, and I'm only going to come down. I put these screws in to help me hold it up. All right, Sean's running the camera, can't help me hold this, so I'm going to lift it up, set it on these screws, and then I'm going to screw it in place. If that makes sense. If not, it will in a second. So here we go with liquid nails. Don't be shy with it. Only come down as far as you're going to go, though, right? I don't need a bunch of extra what is going on? I got a blowout. I don't need to go all the way down because this will set up and it won't stick to my stuff. So why is it stupid? All right, that looks pretty good. I got my drill hooked on my side. I'm gonna lift this in place. Use my little cheater screws to help hold it in place, lift, push it all the way back into that corner. Might have missed that one. So there you go. Pretty good start right there. Looks like I dropped down up here, so I gotta take these out, push that side up. So it's important to have this all straightened out there. Well, what happened there? Missed something there. Missed there. Got there. Go up. Can't go up. What is going on? There we go. There we go, that's better. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a screw about every 5 or 6 inches up and down just to make sure this thing doesn't come undone. And then I'm also just barely getting those screw heads underneath the edge here. I'm not going to bury them deep, but we're going to come back and fill them in with thin set later anyhow. So you just don't want to overshoot too much. So let me get the rest of these screws in and then we'll see what's next. All right, we got these two pieces up, and as you can see now, right here is the shower pan. So we got to measure our distance from the lip of the shower pan up to the bottom of this piece. So we're going to go 21 inches because, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I'm going to cut the back piece of this out a little bit so that it overlaps this lip, and then we're going to seal that, right? Because you could put it right on top of it and then put the thin set or mortar inside there to help seal it, and then we're going to still seal it anyhow again with a waterproof membrane. But I wanted to come over it just a hair, so you can see I'm just over the edge of that lip, so 21 inches. So we'll cut down a piece 21 inches tall, 47 inches long, and then I'll show you how I'm going to cut the backside, just half of this out, so it'll fit over that lip so it won't stick out. So this is that sheet I just cut down, 20 by 74, whatever it was. And now this is the backside, the paper looking side. So I'm going to try to cut about a ½ inch halfway through. So I'm not going to cut the full thickness of this. So I'm going to just mark this at about a ½ inch with my tape all the way across. If I can. It's ugly, but it'll just give me a general line of what I'm trying to do. So now I'm just going to cut along this line just a little bit. Then I'm going to come in from the bottom and try to just chip some of this off of the back. So you get the point. I'll show you when I'm finished. No need to watch this struggle. So here you can see how I just cut that down just a hair, down to the first fiber, I guess is what you could call that. Just to give enough room so that when it fits over that lip, it stays nice and flush and it won't kick our tile out at the bottom. So back to the same. So it's a little difficult to appreciate down here, but now this is sticking over that, but it's not pushed out too far. I guess the only thing I wish I would have done maybe was put another 2x4 across the bottom to get that a little more secure at the bottom, but it's there, it's flush, and like I said, when we use our waterproofing membrane, whatever we're going to use, we'll go ahead and paint some of that underneath there to make sure that that's all nice and sealed. But now we don't have to worry about water going behind the shower pan. It'll just come straight down and run right into the shower pan. So, all right, I'm going to prep the next piece for this wall that has the shower head and the outlet, the spigot on it. So let me get that done and we'll come back and we'll show you what we're going to do. All right, now I'm going to cut the hole for the controller for the shower. So this is just a protective cap that goes over it. So I pulled that off. I measured, and I came up with 7 3/8 from the wall and 44 inches from the floor, which is fine to do it that way, but we all know how my measurement usually goes. Not fantastic, especially since I cut the bottom of this board off, and I can't tell if it's sitting perfectly flush on the lip. So what we did, you see, I don't know if you can appreciate this little spot, but I put a little bit of that heavy duty caulk on the tip of this while it was still on the wall and found my spot. And we're pretty close. So 44 there, right there is 44 inches. 7 3/8. I gotta have glasses for this one. 7 3/8 is right there. So what I'm gonna do before I'm gonna use this as a template because I need to cut a hole this big for the entire assembly. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna cut a smaller hole, maybe 1 inch through that. I'm gonna stand it back up, make sure it lines up, and then I'll come back, I'll use this as a template. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me get the drill. 1.25 inch blade, just something just big enough to fit that that thing. And I put a board down here, a scrap board, so I don't plow through all the other Durarock underneath. So now let's go put it in place and see if she fits. So this hole that I just drilled off by maybe 1/4 inch, it's 1/4 inch high. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just put this here and measure that. Well, that's not working out so well, is it? And I'm gonna move it down 1/4 inch, and I'm gonna make my outline here. So you see I moved that down just a titch, and then I'm going to cut that out with the oscillating saw. Again, keep my board underneath here just to protect the stuff underneath it. And so I'm going to cut this out, and then we'll go see how it fits. All right, so we cut the hole. You'll see it here in a second. And we did a dry fit just to make sure that we like where everything lines up. And it worked out just perfect, where I moved it down just a titch so that we could keep that elevated off of the shower pan, but still overlap on that backside that we had cut out. So same, nothing new. We're gonna come up the 5 feet this time instead of the 3 feet like we were doing. And then don't forget your corner. I think that's about 5 feet. I guess I could measure, right? And be super anal about it. Well, we gotta come up a little higher. Good thing. Good thing I measured. And it doesn't, it's not a game ender if you don't have it there, but you got it, might as well use it, right? So now we're gonna slip this baby right on there. Fits like a glove. Our corner's nice and tight. And then down here, this is sagging a little bit, but that's okay. We'll still, not sagging, but it's closer than I wanted it to be, but it'll be okay. We'll just tighten this down nice and tight, and like I said, we'll waterproof it off. So Let me finish these screws and then we'll do one more up top. Next thing is we got to tape these joints. So all these joints that we made have to get covered in some tape so that we can go ahead and put the thin set on. So these straight ones are pretty simple. Now this tape has a sticky side and a not sticky side. So make sure you put the sticky side against the wall. We're just gonna put that there. And we're gonna cover it up about, so half is on, you know, the top and half is on the bottom. And then you can either just kind of rub it in with your hand, or you can use a trowel or something, not a trowel, but a putty knife to smooth it out if you want to do that too. So you can just kind of, just like that. And then that's going to give us a little extra support for our thin set. So let me do all these horizontal ones, and then we'll talk about the inside corners and outside corners, because on the little kick wall behind me, we have some outside corners too. So let me get all these horizontal ones done, then we'll come back and do the corners. Okay, now for this inside corner, same thing. We're just gonna try to split it 50-50. So we get half on one and half on the other. We're close to half. And then just kind of tuck it down in there with your fingers, back in that corner, tuck and smooth, tuck and smooth. Hope you can see that pretty easily. Mm-hmm. And then same thing, I'm just going to come with my putty knife. You can use that to help kind of get it back in there. And then use that to seat it. So there you go. So that's an inside corner. Let me finish this, then I'll show you an outside corner. So outside corner, same deal. I'm just going to put half up top, half on the bottom. Don't lose my edge this time. Fold that over, bring it around. There you go. That's all your corners and your horizontals. Let's see what's next. All right, since this just has this template to guide us, and I don't have a plastic piece sticking out from inside, I think we're gonna be okay here. But if you have one that has a plastic piece sticking inside, just make sure you come back, and maybe it's a little overkill, but we're gonna maybe cover up some of the edges of this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna need to do that, because this is tight as a tick with the template that we have. But like I said, if you have some gaps, then I would recommend go ahead and do that. So, and then the same thing with the spigot where it's coming out. If you have a little bit of a gap, you know, then I would go ahead and throw a piece of tape over that, and then throw a little piece of thin set over that, which we might do on this little corner right there, just because it's just a titch. You know, any bit of help that you can give is gonna help, or, you know, benefit your waterproofing later. So let's go mix up some thin set, and then we'll get it up on the wall. So for the thin set, we're using this Mapai Curveflex Plus. And the instructions are on the back. So we're just gonna cut this bad boy open. You need a bucket to mix in, and I got a bucket with some clean water. You don't have to have a bucket of clean water, but so I'm just gonna pour some in here. Then I'm gonna pour some water. we got our paddle mixer on our drill, and we're gonna mix it till it looks like peanut butter. All right, so we're gonna mix this to peanut butter consistency for about 3 minutes, and then we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. So see, it's nice and thick, but not too runny, not too thick. So I'm gonna mix it for 3 minutes and we'll wait for 5 minutes. Then we're gonna come back and mix it for 1 more minute, then we can hang it.
Okay.
So there you go. Like I said, kind of like peanut butter, kind of thick, not too bad, not real runny. So now we're gonna go ahead and fill these, all these gaps. So I'm just gonna get some on my trowel here, stick it in there, and then smooth it in. So we're just trying to push it in. I push it into the gap, and then I smooth it out. That's it. Pretty straightforward. You don't have to get too crazy with it, but and this is all going to just add to your waterproofing. So we're still going to add a different waterproof over top of this. I haven't decided which one yet, but we're going to add waterproofing over it. So this isn't going to be the end all be all, but it could be. If you want it to be, this could be your waterproofing. So just make sure you take your time, fill those gaps, get it nice and smooth. Let me finish these up, and then I'll show you how to do the inside corner. All right, same thing for the inside corner. I'm just gonna fill it up. I'm gonna just get it in there as best I can on each side. And then we're just gonna smooth it out. It's tough with this 6-inch trowel, but I think we can do it. There you go. There you go.
You don't want to use one of those smaller ones behind you?
Nah, that'd be too easy. All right, last but not least, we have this outside corner. So same deal. I'm just gonna kind of tuck it and pushing it to get it in that corner. And you can come from the top, come from the bottom, come straight on, whatever you got to do. But the idea is I'm gonna push it down in there just like so. And then smooth it out. And then the last thing we have to do is we got to cover all of the screw holes. So we'll do that, then we'll come back and talk about what the next steps are. So there you go. Inside corners, outside corners, horizontals, all our screws are covered. I threw a little there. It might be overkill because, I mean, how much water is really going to get up there? But whatever. And again, you can use this as waterproofing from my understanding. Now listen, I'm not a plumber, I'm not a tiler. This is not what I do for a living, so do your own research, but this is how we're doing it. Thin set's on. This has got to dry for 24 hours or cure for 24 hours before we do anything else. And then we're going to come back and we're going to put either the red or the blue roll-on waterproofing over top of this. So if you're not going to do that, if you're going to just use this, from my understanding is then you can go along the bottom. So remember, we cut the bottom so it sits back flush, more flush with the pan, but you can come underneath with your thin set and cover the bottom with some thin set as well. But we're going to do that with our waterproofing later, so that's why we did not do it today. But that's it. It took me longer to do this. If you get a 5-foot or 3-foot shower, this is going to be a pretty quick process. But because we had to rip each piece down, and then we had to rip the piece there, you know, I've seen some people say, oh, well, they like that oscillating tool better. I think I probably wish I would have spent the $30 on a diamond tip blade for that circular saw, and this would have been a whole lot quicker. But I didn't, so we were stuck with the oscillating saw. Now I know that that creates a lot more dust, but I think for the time it would save you, it'd be worth the 30 bucks, just in my opinion. So yeah, so there you go. We're gonna let this cure. We'll come back, do the waterproofing later, and that's it. Not a tough job all the way around. The thin set was pretty simple. Just make sure you find the right kind, and you'll be able to do this too. So thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. As always, we love having you along with us. We really appreciate your comments. We get a lot of feedback about, hey, you think about this, or did you do that, or why'd you do this, or why'd you do that? Keep sending it. We'll take it all. We love it. So if you like what we're doing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon. Of course, you know we're going to post another video, something up here, hopefully something related to the mountain, but YouTube picks it, so it's up to them. So thanks for hanging with us. As always, be safe. See you next time. God bless.